Society, Mehboob-Nagar at different times. He is a member of several professional organizations, including the Indian Society of Labour Economics, Andhra Pradesh Empowerment and non-governmental organizations in Andhra Pradesh. Dr. B. Sudhakar Reddy is not only a prolific researcher but also a dynamic speaker who has delivered keynote addresses and presented papers at various national and international conferences covering a wide spectrum of economic topics. His contributions extend to the publication of research papers in prestigious journals and co-authoring several books. Dr. B. Sudhakar Reddy's dedication to economic research, academic leadership, and his commitment to fostering inclusive growth and women empowerment in India have made him a respected figure in the field of economics and education. The Indian Council of Social Science Research, ICSSR, serves as a critical body in India for the advancement and support of social science research, contributing to India's academic and intellectual growth. The Southern Regional Center acts as a bridge between local social scientists and the larger academic and research community, aiding in the advancement of social science research in the Southern region and beyond. VVISM takes pride in the collaboration with ICSSR for today's event. We look forward to more such collaborations with you, sir. I now request Dr. Madan Mohan, VVSB Director, to honor Dr. B. Sudhakar Reddy. Thank you, sir. Now, we would like to introduce and welcome the persons behind Viswani Group. Our Chairman and Principal Director, Shri Srinivas Acharya T, President, Shri G.S.S. Venkateshwar Rao, and Director Admissions, Shri Ramakrishna Chinnam. The driving force and one among us on the dais is Shri Srinivas Acharya T, Chairman and Principal Director, Viswani Group of Institutions. Shri Acharya is an entrepreneur and an accomplished professional with 24 years of experience in carving academic institutions right from inception, covering functional areas like academic administration, admissions, strategic branding, and integrated campus development. He has a passion for digital marketing. He strongly believes in value-based education and academic excellence at the institutional level. With a profound commitment to education and a tireless pursuit of innovation, Shri Acharya has led Viswani Group to new heights of achievement and recognition. He is embodiment of a profound belief in the power of education to shape lives and communities. Shri Acharya's philanthropic spirit and dedication to the betterment of society is evident in the scholarship and opportunities that have been made available to aspiring students. He is the governing and academic council member of a number of reputed institutions, National Executive Council member of Association of Indian Management Schools, Secretary of Approved Business Schools of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. He has also served as Chairman of Telangana State and Andhra Pradesh chapters, EC member of NHRD Hyderabad and Hyderabad Management Association. I now request Dr. Chakrabarti, Director BS, to honor Shri Srinivas Acharya T. Thank you, sir. We are truly delighted to have among us the eminent academicians from Osmania University. A warm welcome to Professor D. Shriramulu, Head, Department of Business Management, Osmania University. Heartfelt gratitude and welcome to Shri K.S. Ravikumar, Chairman Jayaprakash Narayan College of Engineering, Mehboob-Nagar. Sir, you have been a great mentor to Viswani Group of Institutions. I'd also like to welcome all the other OU officials who have graced the occasion today. We also have among us Dean Venkata sir is also here with us. Sir, heartfelt gratitude and thank you for honoring us. Augustus Professor Mohan S. Rao, Vice President, Viswani Group of Institutes. Welcome, sir. We extend Our welcome to Dr. M. Mohan Rao, Director MBA VVSB, Professor Mir Irfanul Haq, Director IMBA, and Dr. Chakrabarti, Director BS of the Viswani Group. I now invite onto dais Shri Srinivas Acharya T, Chairman and Principal Director, Viswani Group of Institutions, to give the welcome address.
Good morning. Good morning. Honorable respected Sri Mamidala Jagdish Kumarji, UGC Grants Commission Chairman, Dr. Professor Ravindra Garu, Vice Chancellor, Usmania University, Professor C. Sudhakar Reddy Garu, Honorary Director, ICSR, Hyderabad, and our President GSSV Rao sir, Vice President Mohan S. Rao sir, Director Admission Ram Krishna Garu, and my mentor KS Ravi Kumar Garu. He's been instrumental in helping us. And Professor D. Ramalu sir, Principal, Department of Business Management, Professor Venkaya Garu, Dean, Professor Sudha Madam, Professor D. Vidyasagar Garu, Dr. Jangir Garu, Dr. Jacob Garu, Dr. Sampath Garu, our friends, institutional friend, Dr. Raman Rao Garu, Director of Viswani Institute of Management, Dr. Srinivas Murthy Garu, Director IP Institute, and Dr. Nagarjuna Garu, Director Admissions, and one and all my students, my staff members, everybody. On behalf of everyone, I welcome Professor Mamidala Jagdish Kumar Garu for this great event, the first of its own kind in Telangana. We are honored, we are excited. We have no words to express our gratitude. We are not finding no words. I heartily welcome one and all for the lecture series of Amritkaal Vimarsh-Viksit Bharath 2047. By then we will become more developed nation. This is a golden opportunity for Viswani institutions to witness the Vice Chancellor as well as Professor Mamidala Jagdish Kumar Garu on this great opportunity. Viswani is the first and foremost institution to introduce multidisciplinary in the state of Telangana. Viswani is known for starting new courses. We are the first institutions to start BBA in the state of Telangana, integrated MBA in Telangana, lateral MCA program in Telangana. We are the first institution to start BSMS integrated program in India. The first and foremost institution in the country to start this. The new education policy has been started with the inspiration of Professor D. Ravindra Garu. Reform, perform, transform is formula we are actually implementing on this. Viswani was established in the year 1998 along with GSS Venkateshwar Rao Garu and Ramakrishna Garu. With the right from inception, we were very as small as 500 SFT. We have now 2,500 students, 15-acre campus. Another big campus is going to come very soon. I will not take much time. I welcome Jagdish Kumar Garu to share his insights. It is a golden opportunity. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Amritkaal Vimarsh-Viksit Bharath by 2047. This can be translated to English as the Golden Era Reflections Developed India by 2047. This term signifies a thoughtful consideration about India's journey towards becoming a developed nation by the year 2047. It implies a vision of a prosperous, advanced and progressive India, and the discussions revolve around the strategies, policies and initiatives required to achieve this goal. Ladies and gentlemen, once again a warm welcome to today's Amritkaal Vimarsh-Viksit Bharath by 2047 event. We have gathered here to discuss the National Education Policy 2022 and its role in shaping the Bharatiya model of education to help India achieve its goal of becoming a developed nation by 2047. The National Education Policy 2022 is a significant milestone in India's journey towards becoming a developed nation. By embracing the Bharatiya model of education, India can create a dynamic and culturally rich education system that equips its citizens with the skills and values necessary to succeed on the global stage. Our esteemed guests today will further enlighten us on the various facets of this discussion. I encourage all of you to actively participate, ask questions, and share your insights as we collectively work towards a brighter, educated, and developed India by 2047. I am delighted to invite on dais Professor B. Sudhakar Reddy, Honorary Director, ICSSR, SRC, to share his insights on the topic with us.
Good morning to all. Respected dignitaries on the dais, Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Honorable Chairman, UGC, Professor D. Ravindra Kumar Garu, Professor D. Ravinder, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Viswani University, Dr. Srinivas Acharya, Chairman and Principal Director, Viswani Institutions, and Professor Srinivas Murthy, Director IPE, and President of this Viswani Institutions, GSS Venkateshwar Rao, and Ramakrishna, Director Admissions, Dr. Mohan Rao, K.S. Ravi Kumar, Professor Mallesham, Dean UGC Usman University, Professor Sriramlu, Professor Venkataya, Dean, Professor Vidyasagar, Professor Jangir, Dr. Jacob Kalle, Dr. Sampath, and friends, students. I also join with Acharya welcoming you all for this lecture series on broad theme Vimarsh-Viksit Bharath 2047. As you are aware that public policy initiatives aimed at transformation of nation into a developed economy has been a subject of public discourse over the last few years. In this context, ICSSR, its regional center, it has got 5 regional centers, southern regional centers, one among them, through its regional center is supporting, collaborating colleges, universities, institutions in different parts of India in organizing lecture series on the theme Amritkaal Vimarsh-Viksit Bharath 2047. The term Amritkaal is not a mere title. It carries profound significance, timeless wisdom reflection, developed India at 2047. In the context of development achievements so far, in the Amritkaal and vision becoming a developed nation by 2047, there is a necessity to think and discuss overall inclusive and equitable growth and development in the various sectors in the campuses of academic institutions. The Amritkaal has witnessed many initiatives with respect to the government schemes, public policy initiatives. Sankalp se Siddhi has appeared as one of the mantras in this Amritkaal to achieve the successful implementation of developmental schemes. This process impacts and results, these development actions require academic engagements, review, and reimagining them in the context of Viksit Bharat 2047. By 2047, India is attaining 100 years of independence. So in this context, ICSSR proposed to facilitate a discourse dialogue culture in the educational institutions on the development of a nation. In the coming few months, in which faculty, students may form a public sphere around these grassroots transformations and fast-changing developmental scenarios in India. In this making of public sphere, we aim at in collaboration with respective colleges, institutions, academic bodies to facilitate a discussion and development research, policy making and implementations. These public lectures may encourage public discussions through comments, queries, question answers and reframe the youth imagination towards achieving the goal of Viksit Bharat by 2047. These efforts may sensitize, motivate our academics and youths in the country of a development-centered ecosystem and universe, which is needed for the creating Viksit Bharat 2047. Fulfilling the dream of Viksit Bharat 2047, India has been actively pursuing various initiatives and policies aimed at achieving sustainable development like urbanization and women empowerment. As one of the world's most populous country, India faces significant challenges. India has initiated development through its various policy initiatives such as National Action Plan on Climate Change and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Pradhan Mantri Yojana, National Solar Mission, Make in India, Smart Cities Mission, National Mission for Ganga, that is Namami Gange, Digital India, and many more. These initiatives and policies demonstrate certainly India's commitment to addressing the challenges of sustainable development, including environmental conservation, poverty alleviation, and social inclusion. All these programs, policies initiated by the Government of India has got a common thread. Rather, it's intertwined. That is, the critical component of all this vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 is our education system, which plays a very catalytic role in shaping the future of our country. The National Education Policy 2020 definitely is a transformative document, is really the game changer, which outlines a roadmap for the holistic development of education in India. Surely it seeks instill sense of pride in our culture, heritage, encourages critical thinking, and aims to create dynamic and globally competitive knowledge society. When we got a message from thinking which institute is the best to organize this lecture, immediately it strikes to my mind that Viswani Institute of Education System is the best college to organize such a lecture. When I spoke to Acharya, he is so thrilled and excited. Sir, we'll go ahead. Nothing. We can, whatever the way you want, we will go ahead. Really, it's a learning and thrilling experience for me to work with the staff of Viswani institutions. I thank Srinivas Acharya, founder of Viswani Institute of Systems, and management, his team, for their ready-to-do approach to shoulder each and every task in the most perfect manner. In organizing and executing them, I thank for their commitment and enthusiasm and culture which they inculcated over the long period of time. In fact, an eminent and highest authority in the higher learnings, Honorable UC Chairman, Professor Jagdish Kumar Garu, definitely after this lecture, all your apprehensions, all your doubts will be cleared. Then you will understand what is the roadmap for future development of a nation. Now it's the 5th largest country. How to make it 3rd largest country? Unless we understand, unless we have a conducive education system, India cannot become a developed one. To transform a developed one, we need a good education system. Of course, I don't want to stand in between you and Professor Jagdish Kumar Garu. So it is prudent to listen New Education Policy 2020, the Bharatiya model of education for becoming a developed nation, from our Honorable Chairman UGC. With these few words, I thank you one and all for listening patiently. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for highlighting the importance of NEP 2020, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. Now, I would like to invite Professor D. Ravindra, Vice Chancellor of Osmania University, to kindly share his thoughts and perspectives.
Good morning to all of you. Honorable Chairman, UGC University Grants Commission, Professor Jagdish Kumar Garu, and respected Director, Professor Sudhakar Reddy, ICSSR, and friend and Secretary and Chairman of this Viswani Institute. And my colleagues, my Usmania fraternity is also sitting in front of me, Dean, Principal, and UGC, Dean, Professor Mallesh, Venkataya, and others. Colleagues of the Viswani Institute of Management and Science, my dear students. I think as soon as I visited this institute, it's not Viswani, it's the Vishwakarma Institute of Science and Technology. As Honorable Prime Minister of India rightly launched the Vishwakarma program, but each and every inch of the building which reflected the Vishwakarma creation. I think the credit goes to Sri Srinivasa Acharya Garu. He has been insisting me to come to this institute, but fortunately today the Honorable Chairman of the UGC is here. I think I am supposed to be there in Delhi to participate in the Niti Aayog on research ecosystem. But whereas our head of the institutions, the Honorable Chairman Garu is here, I think it's my fortunate to participate in this meeting, and I deputed one of my colleague to Delhi this morning. So this, I think, let me congratulate the Srinivasa Acharya Garu and other directors, particularly which they launched the new innovative courses, that PBA, Honors, and other courses, where he was interacted with me as soon as I took over the Vice Chancellor. And earlier, I think I'm not exaggerating the things. Earlier, he faced a lot of problems in affiliation of the Usmania University. But whereas which have come up with a program, it's called as 21-point agenda. In 2021, with the best of the best minds of our university, which sat together almost all 2 months, we prepared the 21-point agenda, which consists of the 4 broad areas that known as the teaching, learning, research ecosystem, infrastructure facilities, and outreach activities. I'm not going into the details of all those things, but whereas any institution, it should have some kind of a long-term and the short-term goals and projects. Similarly, Usmania University prepared that a long-term and short-term goal which have been implementing the 21-point agenda that popularly known as Institutional Development Plan, which envisaged by the UGC. So similar lines, I think I am not exaggerating, most of the reforms which have implemented in Usmania University, and most of our affiliated colleges also, which we consider as an extended family of Usmania University, which are not treating affiliated colleges as affiliated college. But whereas certain colleges are performing very well, and but every day I am receiving the calls from our affiliated colleges to participate in this program or that program. But I am avoiding almost all, because we have 750 colleges. If I go to the 750 colleges, my entire tenure will be over. So instead of that, I think selective here and there, I think because the affiliation and association with Srinivasa Acharya Garu, I'm here, I think I'm thrilled to see the infrastructure, the state-of-art infrastructure which is provided. I think is a great opportunity for the students. When I had the opportunity to participate in the LEAP program, Hyderabad, combinedly organized, in Monash University also, the similar kind of state-of-the-art facilities, classroom facilities, which provided in the Australia, then I think I have seen this, the first institution in Usmania University which is there. So, the ambience and classroom and everything which is helped a lot, and particularly Mallesh is coordinating with that, the campus and constituent and affiliated college also. Since affiliated college is also our extended family, which we encourage the research and research ecosystem, that's why I think we encourage to identify the best Vice Chancellor Award for the best published papers in a reputed journals. Where here I think just now I mentioned the Honorable Chairman Garu that they streamlined the whole journals of the UGC care listed and other journals also. I think it creating a lot of problems where in the CAS and other activities. I've been insisting that quality. Some of the paid journals also there, some of the online journals also there. I think it's the need of the hour to strengthen the quality of the research and quality education which we have to disseminate. It's the responsibility of the universities. So I think I strongly believe that, and also we implementing similar kind of things. And at the same time, this education, the new education policy, particularly now, I think the Bharatiya model. So what about the long, almost all more than 75 years, which have been practicing this education policy in this country? For example, the general perception, I think I am bringing to your notice, sir, before independence or in the Vedic period or ancient period, there was a Bharatiya model, the Gurukulas kind of a thing, Vishwa Guru kind of a concept which you have brought into our notice. But whereas almost all more than 200 years which was under the colonial rule, most of our mindset also in the colonial mind, which is very difficult to come out of that colonial mind to integrate the Bharatiya model or another model. But whereas the present NEP document, which says that most of the intellectuals and others also characterize as I think we are shifted from British model to American model. I think how far it is correct, I think particularly recently I've been there in the US, the most of the universities which adopted, which working on the 4 years UG program. But whereas Viswani is much ahead, even Usman University not introduced the 4 years honors program, but whereas they introduced the 4 years honors program. So wherever is the good, wherever is the best, I think which you have to adopt. I think Usman University, which you have launched 4 years honors program in BCom, BA and other programs also. Sir, we have borrowed, I think generally affiliated college, constituent college borrow the ideas from the university. But I have discussed a number of times with my colleagues and academicians that we are conducting exams, we are approving the syllabus, we are evaluating the papers, but whereas such best courses, the market-oriented, skill-oriented courses which are offering by the affiliated college, why not we? So in light of that, I think, sir, we have introduced 18 new courses last year and this academic year to suit the market needs. But in light of that, our respected Secretary, Vakati Karunagaru also initiated debate with the skill sectors of India, the CRISP they mediated between the universities and the state government and State Council of Higher Education, where that they provided the new courses in the BBA Logistics, BBA Management, BBA BBA Management and the Logistics kind of a courses, with the 3 days they are supposed to attend the classes, 3 days they are supposed to work in the industry related shops and other things also. So that gives a lot of boost for the UG courses like BBA courses in Telangana. I think probably Telangana is the first state which introduced such kind of a courses. I think is going to be the model for the even other states also. Similarly, another initiative, sir, which we have recently almost more than 3 to 4 meetings which have initiated and conducted by the State Council and the Secretary, myself and JNTU Vice Chancellor participated, that known as the BFSI, that consortium, which almost 16 to 17 industries came together. The CEOs and directors who worked in US a longer period, they came back and served for the nation and the state, maybe the Bharatiya model also. They came up with that. And they said that, which I have interacted with that, most of our engineering students and non-engineering students are not ready for industry, not ready for market. Once they recruited, then again they are almost all for 6 months they are giving training for the that recruited persons, and instead of that, they proposed a model that why don't you introduce in curriculum in the engineering students and non-engineering students also, and readily we accepted. And from this academic year onwards, from second semester onwards, which we are planning to introduce the BFSI. BFSI means business, finance, service and industry. I think how many of you know that I am also surprised to listened from the consortium, they said that 80% of the engineering students working for this in this four fields. Where is civil, where is mechanical, where is electrical, where is computer science, I think I don't know. But they said that the computer science courses is going to have a not a bright future, but the future is this in the four sectors. That's why I think Usman University is in the forefront, which we would like to introduce the BFSI program in the Usman University, and from this academic year also. That will give a lot of space for the students. So probably in the central universities and IITs, IIMs have a different kind of a practice. But whereas when we invited the Dr. Ram Gopal Garu from Delhi University, former director, he suggested certain things on the foundation day, on the Vice Chancellor Award function. So they have a different kind of a network, different kind of a system, and particularly they inculcate the culture of alumni, where we also took the inspiration from the IITs and IIMs and particularly in the US universities. This alumni has a lot of potential. Unfortunately, 166 years of University, Usman University, which we never utilized their services. We requested them to come to Osmania, share your knowledge and interact with our students and faculty members. That will strengthen the entire ecosystem, research and academic system. I think probably, sir, Usman University is the first university which we appointed professor of practice. Maybe I think the state universities, particularly in the state universities, the professor of practice, sir, in toto, the spirit and practice, as soon as you took over the UGC chairman, every alternate day we are receiving the letters to strengthen the academic and to reform the systems. So, sir, whether I don't know which university is implementing or not, I don't know, but Usman University, in toto, the UGC regulations which are implementing. For example, you take the PhD admission process, which was a anarchy in earlier time, but whereas which have conducted in 2022 with a systematic manner as stipulated by the UGC regulation. Similarly, sir also appreciated and congratulated on the occasion that the Madan Mohan Malaviya Teacher Training Institutes, which renamed as earlier it was the HRDC, Human Resource Development Centers, in 116 universities in the country, they are offering online courses for FDP program on NEP. But whereas most of the universities, most of the MMTTCs not getting the faculty members to undergo this NEP 2020. But whereas Usman University is the first university which conducted 3 successful NEP programs. Chapatleva? Our Malesh is here, I think he is insisting me to. So, on 116 universities, vice chancellors and directors recently, just 3 days back, Honorable Chairman Garu interacted with, and he asked me, how do you successfully conducting this MMTTCs with a 200 number? Sir, we have evolved the multiple strategies. That strategies worked out and continuously which are working in this MMTTC method. If you have a concern, if you involve in it, if you work hard, I think definitely the fruits will come. So in light of that, I think this is a short-term and long-term policies, programs which were adopted and taken into consideration. Sir, another major concern, this thing, as you rightly said, and also in many meetings which I mentioned that higher education is in the concurrent list. Sir, most of the state universities are in the sandwich position. Sometimes how to go about it? Either we go the UGC regulation, guidelines, or in the State Council of Higher Education, or in the state specific universities also has certain concerns. But whereas which we convince the EC and the standing committee of the deans, sir, probably the standing committee meetings also which you used to conduct 6 months, 3 months gap. But whereas we are conducting every month, standing committee, and I think almost all the issues which we resolved. And in light of that, we have taken a NIQ quota, National Integration Quota. Earlier it was a 5%, which have enhanced to 25%. the 25% of the NIQ quota, since the logistics of the Hyderabad, which is the hub of the most of the multinational companies, their children, either they go to Central University of Hyderabad or the IFLU. But we have provided a space for the 25% of the quota for the NIQ quota. Sir, my appeal to you, sir, university should be based on a broad universal approach. My appeal to that, all the state universities should give reserve for the 50% of the states for the all India quota, 50% for the local. Sir, the composition of the classroom will completely change. The interaction between the Telangana student with the Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar student, that changed the entire culture. If possible, if you debate on that kind of a thing, definitely that's going to change. Sir, another thing, earlier if a BA student want to pursue PG program, a political science student, he or she has to study in the BA economics, political science and public administration, only eligible to study in the MA level, political science, public. But we removed the barriers. The spirit of the NEP, flexible, even engineering student, even BSc student, MBA student also can pursue any post-graduation in Usmania University. So such facilities, I think almost all more than 500 students, engineering and other branches joined in the social sciences. The classroom composition changed, the interaction between the non-engineering and engineering, non-science and social sciences, that create a different kind of a ecosystem, knowledge dissemination, interaction between the technical and non-technical students. I think that kind of a Bharatiya model which we required, I think definitely that's going to be advantage for that. Sir, as you know very well, I think I don't want to mention again and again that most of the state universities after 12th plan almost all starved. Up to 12th plan, I proudly say that the Usman University used to get at least 200 crores per every year or the plan period for more than 500 crores under the various projects. But after 12th plan, so I think it's very difficult from 2017 to till today. Under RUSA, we got 109 crores, 107 crores sanctioned, but released only 16 crores. But how do we cultivate the research culture among the teachers, among the PhD students also? So here is the concerns. I think, sir, the central universities, IITs, IIMs flooding the funds, but whereas for your goal of the GER by 35, 50%, but most of the GER coming from the state universities rather than the central universities. We are giving lot of funds to the central universities, but only meager funds to the state universities. This is, I think, the state universities' concerns. Where in the Varanasi meeting also, which you are there, sir, the Honorable Minister convened a meeting with the IIT directors, IIM and NIT and the state universities and central universities. So our concerns, wherever we go, I think we are placing before you, sir. I think it is also your universities. So please give substantial funding for the state universities. Then you see the, otherwise it's the unequal competition. Providing funds and faculty and everything infrastructure for the other institutions, but not for these institutions. It's very difficult for this thing. So I don't want to take much of your time, sir, but most of the outdated syllabus also, which have revamped the syllabus, which have come up with a new syllabus. Probably you have issued a the notification 2019 that known as the Comprehensive Continuous Evaluation System, where the State Council of Higher Education and the government appointed a committee to review the Comprehensive Continuous Evaluation System in Telangana. I think the ISB, which they prepared the report and submitted to the government, we adopted in toto the first university, Usman University, which have implemented from this academic year, including Viswani also. The comprehensive continuous evaluation have a lot of advantages. Most of the central universities and IITs practicing, why not we? I think we have to give best education to our own students, and those who teach, they evaluate. And that has a linkage between the student and teacher. that gives the lot of credits and lot of strength, and which we have initiated 4 internals in the one semester, and immediately once they conduct the internal examination, you have to upload, and project also made compulsory. The practical knowledge is also need to address. So that's why Usman University adopted the 4th semester, the made it mandatory for the project, and in light of the NEP and academic credit bank of also we registered, sir. And the another major concern is that the multiple entry and multiple exit, where we have some reservations. I think it need to be debated and discussed to move from one institute to other institute, the compatibility of the syllabus, compatibility of the system which is not in place. I think here need to discuss it. The last point which I wanted to bring into your notice, sir, I think as soon as you took over the initiated number of reforms, particularly the faculty recruitment in the central universities, admission process also which have changed, the common university test. Though similarly, the state universities also, there is no problem to join the common universities test, but in the recruitment process which need to be strengthened. I think some kind of for example, in the part-time lecturers where we recruited, we conducted the written test, interview, and then only we recruited. Earlier, whoever come and they appointed in the minimal interview basis, but quality is very, very important. If you have a quality, you will survive. Otherwise, you will vanish. So, in light of that, in the state universities also, it's required a transparent, provable, accountable recruitment system which required. Maybe and thank the Honorable Chief Minister of Telangana. They initiated the board system, common recruitment board, but unfortunately which is not come into force, whereas in some other states also already been implemented in Bihar, Orissa, the Assam and other places also. So I think which need to once we have a national education policy, the similar kind of policy also in the recruitment, that would be a strengthened. Sir, under your leadership we would ready to work, and at the same time give us guidance and direction, particularly for strengthen the higher education system in the country. It's going to transform. That's why we adopted a slogan that known as reform, perform, transform. So the first year of my tenure, which we concentrated all reforms. Second year we performed in second year. This year, which our transformation is also, which is visible in the institution because of a short-term, long-term 21-point agenda, which is yielding a positive results. I think I appeal to all the institutions to have a institutional development plan, and that will guide you for the future developments. With these few words, I think I thank and I congratulations to Srinivas Acharya Garu and all the students and faculty members for the best of the best infrastructure. Really, I think I have no words to say, because this kind of infrastructure facility which is not available in Usman University. But I think we requested the most of the alumni to take up that kind of activity, 105 classes. We were very soon which are going to convert into a operational, this classroom into a e-classroom. We hope definitely that's going to be happen very soon. I think we'll also compete with Viswani in the infrastructure facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your inspiring words of wisdom. With your experience and expertise, you have brought much clarity and ease to the understanding of the educational endeavors. Now we will move on to the much awaited moment of Amritkaal Vimarsh-Viksit Bharath 2047. I'm honored to invite Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Chairman University Grants Commission, to deliver his talk on National Education Policy 2020 and the Bharatiya model of education for becoming a developed nation.
I'm just checking my time. May I request all of you once please stand up. Stretch a little bit and talk to each other. Yes, that's good. You have been sitting. Now you can sit. Please sit down. You sat for so long, I thought we should have a break. Namaskar to all of you, my distinguished colleagues, my dear faculty members and students. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of this event. I am grateful to ICSSR for inviting me to share some of my thoughts with all of you, and I am also thankful to the institution for giving me this opportunity to be here. Just few days ago, I was in a college in Delhi, about roughly 400 students. And when I went to that event, just as it happened here, they invited me to the principal's room and we were having a chat. And in the middle of the chat, a young girl with a camera, she walked in, and I stopped her and asked her, "What are you doing?" "I am doing my UG in psychology." So I asked her, she is in second year, I asked her, suppose after you finish your second year, you ask your principal, I want to take 1 year break. I want to go and learn classical music for 1 year and come back and continue my education. Will your principal permit you to do that? She very hesitatingly but courageously said, "No, my principal will not permit." And that is the kind of status that we have today, where if a student wants to do something, there is not much freedom. The system is like that. It is not the fault of that college or the fault of that principal. It is the system which has restricted the opportunities to the students. Most of you have raised kids. I mean, the faculty members here. The students might have seen small kids in your houses, in your relatives' places, etc. And what did you notice? Every child is different. They behave differently, they play differently, they think differently, they do differently. But somehow we all assume that when they reach adulthood, they all become identical. And in our colleges and universities, we try to use one fits all measure and try to see whether you are good or bad. So we have killed this differential nature that exists, and we are trying to enforce a kind of uniformity which is against the nature of human beings. And that's the biggest challenge that we have in our educational system. Have you seen these small kids when your house is just whitewashed and you are very happy that the house is so clean, and the small kid comes out with a colored pencil and goes and scribbles there? And what will be the reaction of the parent? The parent will come and say, "Hey, don't do that, you are spoiling my wall." But from the child's perspective, she wants to see what will happen if I scribble there to this white wall. She wants to explore. And here you see the child for the first time in life, when the parent comes and tells that I had to conform to things. I have no freedom to explore myself. Somebody tells don't do this or don't do that, I have to conform to that. This is the biggest challenge that young people like you will face in your life. At every stage, somebody or the other will keep advising you, you do this or you don't do that. We need to come out of this conformity mindset. The other biggest challenge that happens with our educational system is the standardized testing. Each student has enormous potential within themselves, and we want to measure this potential. But what do our teachers, our academicians do? They use standardized testing. I am not against standardized testing. We all need to know how much cholesterol I have, how much blood pressure I have. We need standardized testing for that. But for testing the potential of the students, you want to use standardized testing? That is another disaster that we have committed in our educational system. Three things: not recognizing that every student is different, and therefore we must provide personalized education to the students. In olden days, the class sizes were small. The teacher could sense the differences in the ability of the students to absorb the knowledge and alter the way things are taught to the student. But today, we have so many students. Humanly, you may think it is impossible to give personalized education. But that situation is behind us. We can use technology to provide personalized, individualized education to suit the potential aspirations and the goals of the students. And it is happening already. We need to scale it up. The other thing that we need to do is encourage the students to question the status quo. Don't make them conformists. They should be able to think critically. If a teacher is explaining a theory on the board, the students should be encouraged to question that, not simply follow because that theorem itself is an authority or the textbook itself is an authority. So how can I question the authority? That is the end of your pursuit of knowledge, when you think that you cannot question the authority. Learn to stand on your legs, learn to critically think, and keep questioning the status quo. And the other thing that we need to do in our educational system is, because we have large number of students in our educational system. Today we have 30 crore students, and out of that only 4 crores are in the higher education system. And in next 5 years it will become 8 crores. This classroom will not be sufficient to accommodate the double the number of students who are wishing to pursue high quality higher education. But we need to provide the education on a mass scale. You are all very privileged lot. You got admission to this great institution. You have parents who can support you to pay the tuition fee, your living costs. But think about crores and crores of other young people of your age or younger than you who are living in rural areas, who are living in families whose parents may be a daily wage worker or a small farmer struggling to get food for twice in a day. What about those students? Is it not our responsibility to ensure that the same high quality education is taken to the doorstep of those crores of students who are aspiring to become like you? That is why we need to ensure that the education is done on a mass scale. It may appear contradictory that on one side we want to provide personalized education so that your real potential comes out, your learning outcomes are enhanced. On the other side, I am saying education also has to be on a mass scale. Let me tell you, because you are all in management area, if we provide high quality education on a mass scale to a large number of young people, it will enhance the average, the aggregate competency of people, young people in the society. When the aggregate competency is enhanced, it will lead to enhanced productivity. When the productivity goes up, our economic systems will become stronger. The per capita income of the individuals will increase. The per capita wealth of the individuals will increase. And that will then help us to put in more public funds to take education to large number of students across the country. So therefore, it is in the interest of our country that we provide education in such a way that your individual potential is recognized and enhanced, and it is reached to large number of students across the country. Let me also tell you a simple example. Is there anybody whose birthday is coming in this month or next month? Can you please raise your hand? No, I want a student, not you. Anybody next month or next to next month? Assume one of you, yes, let's say his birthday is going to come, and now many of you know that his birthday is going to come, and some of you may think that you will take him for a treat on the birthday. And you take him for a treat, you go to a mall, and there are 3 nice restaurants there, and he is called for a treat, so his mind says, okay, let me go to restaurant 3. But then you have invited him, you sense that he wants to go to restaurant 3, but you want to take him to restaurant 1. You say, no, let's go to restaurant 1 only. Your friend says. Now suddenly you realize that your autonomy to make a decision is curtailed. You can't make a decision. What your friend says, you have to go there. And this is what happens to many of our kids, many of our students. The student wants to pursue something in political science, but the parents want him to do computer science. So your autonomy is curtailed in our educational system. Okay, you go and choose restaurant 1, and your friend offers you a plate of idli and a cup of coffee, and you tell your friend that, no, first I will have idli, I will take a break, go and do some window shopping, and then I will have coffee. Your friend says, no, you should have idli followed by coffee. I am treating you. So that is what is happening. If somebody wants to do from psychology course, you want to shift to music, or you want to shift to some other subject, your teacher, your system say, no, that's not possible, just as your friend is saying. And then to your horror, you find that that particular restaurant, it offers only idli and coffee, nothing else. So this is what is happening to our younger people like you. You lack the freedom to choose the subjects that you want to study. You lack the flexibility. Even if you choose the subject that you want to study, within that duration, you completely lack the flexibility because our system is so rigid. And then you have no choices. Friends, that is why the national education policy wants to ensure that every young person like you have 3 important ingredients necessary in education: freedom, flexibility, and choice. Don't you like to have that? Yes or no? If you want to say yes, you say yes or no. Yes? No, I don't hear it loudly. Yes. So that's a lesson to the teachers here. They are all saying they want freedom, they want flexibility, They want choices. Teachers, are you willing to provide that to our students? Teachers are saying yes. I hope somebody has video recorded what teachers said. You can show them next time that you have agreed to provide freedom, flexibility and choices. Where is it? Okay. Now, one of the things that you have to keep in your mind is whenever we look at any challenge, any problem, you should have a bird's eye view of the problem, but then you need to break that problem into smaller parts and look at each part and see how you can find a solution. The reason why I am telling is, when you are studying in a college like this, it's an idealized world. You are away from the rest of the world. Nice campus, nice hostels, nice friends, so many activities. But the outside world is not so ideal. It's a non-ideal world. And when you pass out and you go and see, you see so many challenges, you get perturbed. And this is where you need to have a clear understanding that the world is always complex. Our life is always a struggle. But whether you can succeed in this struggle depends on how you respond to these challenges. You need to prepare yourself to respond to these challenges. And if you want to do that, you have to be an optimist. You need to think big. You need to understand what are your inner potentials. Use them and respond to the challenges that you are facing in your life so that you can navigate easily. And this is what happens when we are looking at so many suicides taking place on the colleges' campuses. So many students undergoing stress. It is because you are unprepared to see the real world. You are living in a very, very idealized world. And it is the responsibility of our educational institutions, our teachers, to sensitize you to the real world. So, why do you have to be an optimist? Optimists, they enrich the present. They enhance the future. They challenge the improbable. And they achieve the unachievable. And that is the only way we can succeed in our life. Now, having said that, in today's situation, if you look at any challenge that we face, when you go from your campus to the main city, what is the main challenge you face? You see traffic, you see pollution. And it's not a localized problem. It is there across the country, it's there across the globe. And what we call this pollution issue and so on, it's related to climate change. And you also see, when you go out into the city and into the countryside, you see that there are many people who are facing extreme poverty. Not everybody is as fortunate as you are. Who are facing what is known as multi-dimensional poverty. Multi-dimensional poverty means they are not in extreme poverty, they have food and shelter, but then they don't have access to good health facilities. They don't have access to good education. They don't have good transport. So they face multi-dimensional poverty. So these are the kinds of challenges that you see when you go out of your institutions. Since we are living in a society, we are not individuals who will get a degree, who will get a job, raise a family and live happily. If you want to live happily, there are so many others who are providing you that ecosystem. So we are all interdependent on each other. So therefore, as students, when you pass out, when you are growing in your career, it's also important for you to think about this interdependency on each other. Every action that you are doing, every work that you are doing in your life, it is affecting somebody else. And that is why, students, my fervent request to all of you is to be responsible not only to yourself, but to the people around you. Through your actions, you need to create a positive change in the lives of the people around you. And that's the only way, through small steps that each one of us do, we can address the challenges which are affecting us as a global community. Today, when we talk about climate change, it's closely linked to the destruction of the biodiversity, the deforestation, the desertification, land and ocean degradation, pollution, and so on. And each one of our activities are contributing to that. Today we are struggling to keep the global rise in temperature below 2 degrees centigrade as compared to the global temperature of pre-industrial era. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that this campus is designed to be a green campus. I was taken to the library there and I was shown there are no artificial lights here. We use natural light to sit here and work. And that is how we need to change our lifestyles in order to protect ourselves and protect the environment that is sustaining us. When I talk about the national education policy and the various kinds of reforms that we are bringing in, these are all tools, but what is required for all of us is use these tools to transform ourselves, to transform our mindset, to transform our thinking process. We should not just focus only on the tools that are there, whatever reforms that are coming, but we need to see why we need to implement them and how it is going to change the lives of each one of us. Just to give you one example, I will give a quiz to you, to the students. It's a multiple choice question. There are only two choices. Choose A or B. A, I will give you a pure metal. Let's say iron. Iron, you know, a pure metal is ductile, it is corrosive, it is not very strong. Choice B, I will mix in iron a little bit of chromium, a little bit of magnesium, a little bit of silicon. What will happen to iron? Iron will now become steel. Steel is very strong. It has many applications as compared to iron. So, my dear students, I want to ask you, if I give choice A and choice B, which one will you choose? Loud. You choose B. I am hearing from the teachers loud, not from the students. You choose B, right? You choose an alloy which is stronger, non-corrosive, which can be used in many applications. Look at your own lives. Suppose you try to be like this pure metal. You choose physics in your +2, go to BSc, choose physics, MSc physics, PhD physics. You are like this pure iron metal. You are pure, but you have limitations. On the other hand, imagine that you have chosen physics in your +2, but in your BSc you have chosen some other subject, and in your MSc you have chosen some other subject. Just as this soft metal has become stronger, it has transformed itself into steel, you will find that there are many takers who will use your knowledge, your multidisciplinary knowledge. And that's the reason why we have been now telling all the institutions that you should ensure that our students do not become pure metals. They should become allies. They should become experts in multiple areas. Just to give you an example, let's say during COVID period, you wanted to develop a model to find out how the COVID is spreading. If it is left only to biologists, that model will not be able to predict. If you leave it to only mathematicians, it cannot. What you need is a person who understands the biology part of COVID, a person who knows the mathematical part, and you also need an understanding of the society. You require a sociologist there, because you don't know, a biologist and a mathematician cannot understand how clusters of people are responding to vaccination or how they are responding to lockout. Only a sociologist can tell you. So that's the reason why in the national education policy we are emphasizing that multidisciplinary education should be provided. There are many things in the national education policy. Since we have limited time, I will take only a couple of things, and through illustrations I will try to tell you why it is important for you students, why you should be demanding every day. Go to your principal, your director, and say, where are the choices for us? Where is the freedom? Where is the flexibility? This is what you should be doing. Now, when I talk about multidisciplinary education, this of course will enhance your employability. It will provide you better opportunities. But however, when you talk to the director of the institution or a vice chancellor, the vice chancellor will come up with all the challenges he has or she has. But there are simple solutions for introducing multidisciplinarity in the lives of our students. First of all, I'm glad that Osmania University has broken down these disciplinary boundaries, and they let undergraduates in any discipline to join in a postgraduate program of any other discipline. That is how it should be. In fact, I would like to go down a little bit. If I have, for some reason, I have chosen commerce, but now in my schooling, and now I want to shift over to physics, or I want to shift over to something else, why should I be prevented? If I can prove my competency in an entrance examination, I should be allowed to study any subject that I may like to pursue. How can you expect a small kid to make a lifelong choices at that age? The choices can change, but unfortunately our system doesn't provide that kind of opportunity. And now, suppose I have joined in BSc Physics, a 4-year undergraduate program. The national education policy says that allow the students to major and minor in different subjects that they would like to pursue. You may like to major in physics, but you can also minor in economics. Then at the end of it, you will become econophysicist. You will use the physics models to solve the problems of economics. And this is how we can provide multidisciplinary education. Most universities have economics, physics, chemistry, and so on. Multiple departments are there. What prevents the universities letting the students attend courses from different departments? And I would like to congratulate Osmania University for taking the first step in implementing this. But however, at the same time, let me also tell you, Professor Ravinder, when I travel across the country and meet people like you, students and educationists, and when I listen to them, in many places, I also hear the heads of the institution saying that ours is the first institution, we have introduced this. So I see a kind of competition across the country to say that, no, we are the first, we have introduced, which is a very, very healthy trend, that many universities are coming forward to introduce this multidisciplinary education. Purely from the student's perspective, without your active involvement, we will not be able to implement NEP successfully. You are the real Saradhis of this national education policy. That's why UGC has introduced the NEP Saradhis scheme, and I'm sure there are some Saradhis from Osmania University also. We have selected about 720 Saradhis, and these Saradhis will conduct webinars, seminars, exhibitions, and so on, and bring more awareness. See, in the beginning, when we announced the NEP 2020, we were at a stage of understanding NEP and creating awareness. But now we are at the stage of action and implementation, and I hope that Osmania University and in your college also, if there are any Sardis, you will work together to make sure that the NEP 2020 is implemented effectively. Professor Ravindra also mentioned about the multi-entry, multi-exit scheme. I do understand the apprehensions of some institutions about this multi-entry, multi-exit scheme. We have already implemented this. I think it's more than 1 year. In many institutions, we have already implemented it. One of the fears that was expressed to me is that if you introduce this multi-entry, multi-exit scheme, a lot of students will drop out. They will take, in quotes, advantage of this multi-entry, multi-exit, and they will drop out. I think this is a grave underestimate of the capabilities and the aspirations of our young people like you. We have not heard across the country in the institutions where multi-entry, multi-exit is introduced. We have not heard about large-scale migration of students or seats becoming vacant and so on. Multi-entry, multi-exit scheme is primarily introduced for a couple of reasons. One, if any student is unable to clear their examinations, let's say at the end of second year, if the student wants to take a break for some time, maybe because of health reasons or financial reasons or personal reasons like not able to complete some examinations, unfortunately that becomes the end of the journey, educational journey for the student. Primarily because our systems are so rigid. Now, think about the fate of that student. When the student goes back, there are relatives, there are peers, there are friends. They all think that that person is a failure. He left the college and then came back home. And this mentality of looking at every such thing as a failure and attaching a negative stigma to that is actually affecting our young people. It is so natural to fall down. It is so natural to fail in many things that we do. What we need to do is encourage students to learn from these failures and then move forward. This multi-entry, multi-exit scheme is primarily to remove that kind of psyche that we have in our minds, that failure is somehow bad. Failure should be a stepping stone for each one of you. The other reason why we have introduced the multi-entry, multi-exit scheme is, at the end of second year, some institutions may have vacancies. Now, every seat that goes vacant is a national wastage. There are so many aspiring students. How can you let these vacant seats go? Can't you have lateral entry of students? Can't you devise your own admission process and bring students into your vacant seats so that they also get benefited? And often, it may also happen that there is a tier 3 institution. A student would like to move to a tier 2 or tier 1 institution because that institution has better teachers, better facilities. We will be providing an opportunity to the students through this multi-entry, multi-exit scheme. So therefore, we believe that this multi-entry, multi-exit scheme should actually benefit the students and also the institutions. I heard at many places that the university system has much weaker alumni cells. They do not have the connection with the alumni who are passing out of their institutions. We often hear about the alumni of IITs and such other institutions walking in and then giving a check for 20 crores and say, no, for what my institution has done, I am giving this as a financial fund for the growth of the institution. But we never think about the university system. Our university system has enormous talent, enormous potential. if you look at the number of unicorns established in US alone, I am not telling globally, in US alone, if you see, there are many state universities which have produced alumni who have contributed to the establishment of unicorns in US alone. In the rest of the globe also, there are many, many university alumni who are contributing. But what is required is to establish a connect with them and bring them back to your institution, show them around, take their inputs and involve them in the growth of our institution. And that's the reason why, as part of NEP 2020, we have requested all the universities to establish this alumni cell. And again, I'm pleasantly surprised and happy that Osmania University is contacting their alumni and involving in the growth of the university. And that is how it should be done. But Professor Ravinder also has said that from your college he has learnt and then he has introduced 4-year undergraduate program. So it's vice versa. We learn from each other and we benefit from each other. You know, when we look at the education system nationally, often the focus is on IITs, institutions of national importance. Out of 4.1 crore students that we have in higher educational institutions, only 6% of the students are in these national institutions. The remaining 94% are the students in the state universities and the colleges that are spread across the country. We need to strengthen the state university system if our educational system has to strengthen. And there are two components that we need to do. One, of course, is to improve the teaching learning processes and then strengthen the research ecosystem. I will take up the second one first. Whenever we want to strengthen the research ecosystem, the issue of funding comes. In the last 1 week, I was part of the Niti Aayog meetings discussing on the same topic of strengthening the research ecosystem in our universities and colleges. Generally, when we talk about research ecosystem, we think of the funds. We do not have enough funds to do research. That, of course, is a challenge. You require funds. But we need to look at things beyond the funds. Let's say somebody is very weak and he sits under a tree grasping. What thoughts will come to you immediately? Okay, let's go and give some food and water so that that person will recover. But there may be several other things because of which that person is weak. University system also is like that. Simply pumping large amount of funds to the university system alone will not help the university system to strengthen. There are other things that we need to do, and often our attention is not focused on those things. For example, research funding is always highly competitive. Nobody gives you research funds on a platter and say you can do any research that you want. Now, if it is competitive, are our faculty members trained enough to write successful project proposals? Point one, even if I am succeeding, close to 20 or 25% of the applications are successful in project funding. Even if I am successful, I get, let's say, 20 lakhs, 2 crores, 5 crores funding to my university. Next comes the elephant in the room, that is the administration. The administration is so insensitive to the needs of my young faculty who has brought 2 crores of funding. The young faculty will only be running around the files, pushing the files. So first, our faculty had to be trained to write successful project proposals. 2, we need to set this system within our universities. We need to make it more efficient so that the project purchases, the implementation of the project, they are not hampered. And then the other one, even if I am doing some basic research, I lack the competency to convert this basic research into applied research, into a prototype. And most universities, if you want to have university industry linkages, this is what an industry looks for. Do you have the competency to turn your basic research into a prototype? We don't have, so we need to strengthen that. Even if I convert that into a prototype, how do I interact with the researcher? Your focus is going to be on publishing papers, for example, creating new knowledge. But the industry person says, no, you can't publish that paper so soon. That knowledge has to be first converted into a product, and then I should be able to sell it. Only then you can publish it. So you can see the cognitive distance. This cognitive distance has to be broken, and you need to come up with some via medium so that both of you are able to talk to each other at certain agreeable wavelength. The other challenge, this is something that I am sharing my thoughts with my colleagues who are researchers in different domains, is the communication channels. How do you establish the communication channels with the industry? Is it through formal channels? Is it through informal channels? Often, globally, it is found that informal channels help you in transferring this tacit knowledge from one to the other. But however, we lack this kind of informal channels. How many of us, for example, are there any industry representatives here in this meeting? None. There is no industry representative, right? Very few. One or two are there, right? 3 are there. 4 are there. But here I think we have more than 100 people here. We have 4. We need to have many of them in conversations like this. During tea time, during breaks, you have conversations and you build that trust in each other. And that is what will establish better university industry collaborations. So my request to all of you is please do that. How many of you have joint workshops? If Osmania University organizes a workshop on some topic, let's say in biotechnology, you may invite other faculty members from other colleges and universities, but also ensure that at least 25% of the participants are from the industry, so that there is a mutual dialogue between you and that chemistry develops. Chemistry is very, very important between industry colleagues and the university colleagues. So that's the reason why we have asked all universities to form R&D cells. And the purpose of R&D cells, we have provided the guidelines to the universities to ensure that some of the things that I have mentioned, shared with you, are implemented in the universities. And let me tell you, when we had a review meeting with these R&D cells of nearly 700 universities, many of them are excited about how R&D cell is now transforming the research ecosystem in the universities. In the UGC, we are also thinking about recognizing 3 best R&D cells from across the country, so that others also will get motivated and improve the research ecosystem. And for improving the teaching learning ecosystem in the universities, there are a couple of things that I would like to share. Number one, from the student's perspective, students are always eager to learn something. They are always eager to experiment something. They don't want to be conformists. They want to be critical thinkers. They want to be solution providers. They want to take risks. Encourage the students to do that. And how can you do that? Well, couple of things that we need to do. There is a shloka which goes back to the Mahabharata times. This shloka tells that 1/4 of education comes from the teacher, 1/4 of the education comes from critical thinking, 1/4 of education comes from peer learning amongst yourself, and 1/4 of education comes over a period of time through experience. So now you see the entire educational process, the role of teacher is only 1/4. And that transformation has to come in the minds of the teachers. I am not a teacher. I am a mentor to my students. We need to come out of this teaching. I want to teach my students. One of my young faculty members, he came and said, "Sir, how to become a good teacher?" I said, "Don't become a good teacher. You need to become a mentor to your students so that the best in your students is brought out. They become the best learners." That should be the goal of our teachers. So now you see, if the students have to learn through their own experience, how do you create such an opportunity to your students? Introduce internships. Let the students go out of your colleges, interact with the real world, learn on the floor, learn by talking to real people in real world. These internships had to be introduced. Earlier, when we spoke about internship, we thought, if I am in engineering, I will go to Intel, I will go to Microsoft. Now UGC says, as per NEP 2020, don't get into those narrow areas of internship. If you are an economics student, maybe you can go to a local court and see how a court functions. If you are a computer science student, go to a local panchayat office and see technology, how technology can bring positive changes in the lives of the people. You need to go beyond your own domains to expand your life experiences. And then peer learning. How do you engage your students in their peer learning? And this is the challenge for the students in your classrooms. Do you stop your lecture after 15 minutes and say, "Students, I'll give you 3 minutes, talk to each other"? I do that in my class, and you can see the noise level going up. Young people, they are restless. You can't expect them to sit quiet all the time. They're always moving around. Let them do it for 2-3 minutes. So after 2-3 minutes, when I say, "Okay, now let's come back to the lecture," they say, "No, sir, just wait. We are busy talking to each other." So you need to create situations inside the classroom where students are learning from each other. And you must encourage the students to challenge you in the classroom. How many of you feel comfortable when a student challenges you in the classroom? This is something, this attitudinal change is something that we need. No, I have seen only few hands. I want every teacher to say that I encourage my students to critically question me in the classroom. I am not saying all the teachers raising. Students, be ready with your cameras. Right? So this teaching learning component is something that we must encourage and improve in our educational systems. There are many other things that we are doing in UGC. What I would like to do is stop here and take questions from you. That will bring out a lot of things, and in between, if I suddenly remember, I will also speak on that. I think I will stop here. I don't want it to make one-sided sense.
So this is Balakrishna, faculty from Integrated Master in Business Administration. First and foremost, I thank Ministry of Education and the concerned agencies for increasing fellowship for JRF and SRF guys. Here I request the Jagdish sir to extend some kind of fellowship to the state or central government, I mean, who are pursuing doctorate from central university or state governments, at least to some extent. those for full-time scholars. One thing I want to tell here and ask you, as Jagdish sir noted, system is rigid. I say system is too rigid. Why I am telling this one? When I was pursuing my doctorate from National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli, I strongly felt that I should learn the insights into the counseling psychology plus psychological testing and analysis, which is went to and asked the HOD. I said and explained the same case, my willingness to pursue that one. He without any hesitation, he summarily rejected that it is not possible. Where the simple answer it is. I really pathetic to hear such an answer from the head of the department, especially from the so-called institutions of national importance. Forget about the other institutions. You don't know what will happen with that.
So please put your question.
Question is that, sir, what measures you on behalf of the UGC going to take or already adopted to encourage multidisciplinary research?
Okay, right. Let's take other questions also and I will answer. One more question. Let the students ask questions.
Good morning, sir. I am Srinivas. Sir, I would like to ask about, do you think National Education Policy 2020 will help in reducing the exodus of Indian students to other international universities?
Okay, right. Please sit down. So, multidisciplinary research, as I already said, UGC has already issued many guidelines on how to introduce the multidisciplinary research. But again, it is the rigidity in our system which is not letting that happen. So we are regularly in dialogue with the heads of the institutions, trying to motivate them to create this. And in some universities, it's already there. Let me also give you another example of, let's say I have done BA Political Science and then MA Economics, and I do PhD in Political Science, and I apply for a faculty position in Political Science. The shortlisting committee will say, no, but your MA is not Political Science, it is in Economics, right? So this kind of rigidity has to go out. We are working on reviewing the 2018 minimum qualifications for faculty appointments, and we want to bring in a lot of flexibility in the minimum qualifications for the appointment of faculty. And once that happens, I think there will be a lot of multidisciplinary approach in our universities. And a similar thing can happen. Let's say I have done my master's in electrical engineering, but I want to do PhD in international relations. The system will not permit. But take an entrance test, and if I prove my competency in international relations, why can't I do PhD in international relations? Given the system has the facility to give extra courses to the student as bridge courses to build any lack of knowledge in international relations, it should be done. Just to give you an example, during last 25 years, if you look at the Nobel Prizes in medicine, nearly 70% of the Nobel Prize winners in medicine, they do not have a basic degree in medicine, but they still got Nobel Prizes. So we have a long way to go, but it is implementable. And the other question that he has asked is, will NEP 2020 help us in reducing the exodus of our students to foreign universities? So in this regard, I would like to say that ours is the largest educational system in the world. We have many students in our country. During last 100 years or so, we are able to build these 1100 universities, 45,000 colleges. But in the next 5 years, the number of students is going to double. So can we build the same number of universities to accommodate all these students, which we took 100 years to build? While we continue to build physical universities and colleges, we cannot match the pace at which the students are coming to the higher education. So therefore, some of the students will continue to go elsewhere wherever there are opportunities to study. Remember, we are a democratic country. People have choices for them to go. But having said that, let's also recognize that our own Indians who are working globally, our Indian diaspora, they are also pride of our country. Wherever they are there, they integrate with the local society and they contribute enormously to the global economy. So that's the reason why today India has become a global voice. India has become a leader. We cannot remain in isolation. In fact, our knowledge flowing beyond our borders has been a phenomena of our country for thousands of years. Even in ancient India, people have traveled by building their own ships across the shores. They spread our culture, they spread our spices and our knowledge, and the same thing is happening today. So therefore, you will have Indians going abroad, but you will also have a large number of Indians who are staying here. Sometimes people may say that the really talented ones are going out and the others are staying back. No, that's not true. People who are staying back are also highly talented. Otherwise, we could not have put our Chandrayaan-3 on South Pole of Moon. Otherwise, we could not have made our country 5th largest economy in the world. Otherwise, we could not have built such large digital public infrastructure in our country, which has become a model for the rest of the country. So, therefore, let us get away from this pessimistic idea that the better ones are going out and the leftovers are staying here. That's not true. The talent is equally distributed, whether it is urban, rural, everywhere we have enormous talent. And in fact, India is going to become the human capital for the rest of the world. Whether it is scientific research, large corporations, or even services, Indians are going to be there across the globe. Next question.
Sir, good afternoon. This is Dr. Ritu. So, it may be not a part of NPB, but my one thing is that can't we put education system apart from reservation? We can do a reservation based on monetary basis, not on talent or competencies. Because I'm a victim of this reservation, that's why I'm putting in front of you. Why can't the UGC, AICT or MHRD or Ministry of Finance put a reservation in a monetary form, not on the criteria of talent and competency? Are the reforms are on the place, or it is not going to be done? My question is this.
You see, %65% of Indians are living in rural areas. They have very limited opportunities. They are financially weak. So therefore, it becomes our responsibility that we have affirmative measures so that every Indian has access to high quality education. And that is why our constitution and our parliament has defined certain affirmative actions, and therefore it is important that we ensure that these affirmative actions are followed in letter and spirit. See, ultimately, when we set a goal for ourselves of making India fully developed India, this development has to be driven by several factors. One, any development that is coming in India should reach the last person in the queue. It cannot go to only a particular section of the society. Everybody should be able to benefit. For example, the financial inclusivity that we have today, it is unimaginable. Today, more than 80 crore people have bank accounts, and the financial services are directly provided into their bank accounts, right? And today, there are so many students. I have seen in JNU, when I was Vice Chancellor, students coming from small farmer families, or students whose mother is a servant maid in a house. These people coming and studying in JNU and at the end of their education transforming themselves as vehicles of social transformation, is it something not a great thing to happen in our country? So therefore we must ensure that there is distribution of opportunities for everybody, and NEP 2020's aim also is that. And when we talk about equal opportunities for everybody, one important thing we often forget. Recently we brought out the guidelines on that also. The Divyangs amongst us, our attention needs to be paid on them also. Are we making our buildings accessible to our Divyangs? Are we making our pedagogical approaches accessible to our Divyangs? They are also an important part of our community, and they are recently, have you seen in Paralympics, more than 100 medals were won by the Divyangs. So ma'am, NEP 2020 has several ingredients to make sure that education reaches using technology. By changing our own attitude, education reaches to every individual so that they will become pillars of strength for our whole country. Right. Next, let's go to the next question.
Very good afternoon, sir. I am Dr. Santosh Kumar, PhD in Commerce.
Can you please put the microphone close?
I'm Dr. Santosh, and
Bit close.
I'm a PhD from Usmania University, completed in 2007. And I got one simple question, sir. Like a PhD from Department of Commerce, is he eligible for professorship in Department of Business Management?
Right. I'll give you an example. In my own department, Electrical Engineering Department at IIT Delhi, we took a person in our group, electronics group, who has a PhD in textile technology, completely different from electrical engineering and electronics, and he is doing very well. He is a well-known scholar in his discipline. I think universities, educational institutions have to look at the contributions of the applicant, assess whether the candidate's capabilities match with the requirements of the university or the college, and then appoint. There is a greater need, I agree with you, to break these disciplinary boundaries.
Because we have already done, like a student from BA can move on to, he can study MBA.
Right.
So I'm hoping that in the same way it will happen in this area as well. Thank
Sure,
you very much, sir.
Sure,
Thank you
it
very
should
much.
happen. I completely support that.
Sir, continue with this question. As per the usual.
Ma'am, you have already asked one question. And I want more students to ask. Yeah. Don't be afraid of your teachers here.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is, like, so many students are dependent on someone to make their own decisions. So I want to know, like, how this NEP will help us to make their own decisions.
Okay. NEP, it is on two fronts. NEP works. One is to create an ecosystem where everybody feels that yes, these are the right things that we should do. That is part one. And part two, NEP 2020, through UGC regulations, we provide, facilitate the implementation of the good ideas in the universities and colleges. Otherwise, but changes will come in the as time progresses. Right.
Thank you,
Next
sir.
question.
Sir, my name is Samrat. Just now you said that, just now you mentioned that 65% of the population or the students are underprivileged or
They live in rural areas.
rural areas.
Right.
Can you explain on this? How is the reach or the facilities to reach them, like for any free education or as you mentioned the Divyangs also, how the reach of the education will go on in this scheme NEP 2020?
Correct. No, it's a very good question. They are not able to come to a town or a city and study here and invest in their education. So how do you take high quality education to their doorsteps? Today we have the technology programs, and soon we will also be establishing a national digital university which will provide, in addition to the conventional degree programs, it will also provide lot of skill based programs. And we have internet connection available across the globe, across the country, and the fiber net facilities are being available down to the panchayats across the country. So it is going to happen, and that's the only way we can skill them, we can make them knowledgeable so that more opportunities open up. I will give you one example. Let us say there are young people in a village and they are experts in, they don't have the access. So you can now use the open network for digital commerce and provide your products to the global community. Recently, a collector in a district in Madhya Pradesh, he found that lot of videos are being uploaded in a particular YouTube channel and millions of people are watching. So he got curious and went to that village and found out that there is a group of 25 youngsters. They are extremely talented in producing very interesting videos. So he immediately set up a digital lab there, a video processing facility there, and he trained them so that they can use that and become an entrepreneur. They can become influencers on the YouTube channel. So there is enormous talent. The challenge for us is how do you provide opportunities to use this talent and then grow. Right, next question.
Sir, in the same question I want to ask, how is the training of teachers and faculty will, you are speaking about the opportunities, but what about the training of teachers and at the rural level?
Right, this is an important component that you have raised. I thank you for that. One of the challenges for us is that teachers, including me, we have come from a system where we never understood the importance of working in a team. We always try to work in silos. We never faced a situation where the class is noisy and the students are challenging me. I always found students are conformal, obedient, don't ask questions. You know, that's how we grew up as teachers. But today's younger generation is different. They are aspirational, they are challenging, they are energetic. The teachers also have to change to face the new younger generation in the classroom. We have seen that in our own families happening, how our kids are different as compared to we when we were kids with our parents. So are the teachers changing? The pedagogical approaches, how you impart knowledge, how you mentor your students, they need to be changed. And two, the teachers also have to be trained enough to use the digital technology in their teaching learning processes. Gone are the days where you simply use a PPT and then make a presentation. Even that many people do not know how to make a presentation. They fill up the whole slide with a lot of text and then keep reading from there. So we need to train our teachers how effectively they can use the digital technology. And the last one is the assessment. Teachers have to be trained to set the question papers appropriately. I remember a teacher saying that, no, I set such a question paper, even the best student in my class cannot answer even 50% of the questions. Then you are only testing the ignorance of the students. Students are different. Some students are quick in solving a problem. Some student is good in giving a good lecture. Some student is good at writing an essay. Can you use these multiple approaches to assess the students to find the real potential? So in all these things we need to train our teachers, and that's the reason why we have established the Malaviya Mission teacher training centers. 111 of them we have introduced, and Osmania University is one of the centers which is doing very well in contacting the teachers and training. I request all the teachers also here to please join in this MMTTC 2-week training program. That's only the beginning, and in future many more training programs will come. And please don't come to these programs just because it helps you in CAS, in some promotion. It should come because you are intrinsically driven to become a good mentor, to become somebody who will make your students a good learner. Right, next question.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Vishal. So my question is, why can't the universities, they don't update the syllabus in every academic year?
Absolutely.
And I had thought, sir,
you have hit the nail on its head.
Initially, I had a thought in doing MBS.
Before you ask another question, in the last meeting, INSA arranged a meeting about state university ecosystem, and Dr. V.K. Saraswat, who is Niti Ayog member, he told about an instance. When he was a student, his teacher used to come with a notes and teach from that notes. So one day the teacher went out to toilet or somewhere, and Dr. V.K. Saraswat, out of curiosity, wanted to know what is there in that notebook. He went and shifted one page, and the page broke into half. It is such an ancient notebook he was using to teach his students. So I completely agree with you. What stops us in revising our syllabus at least every 5 years? All universities must do that, and I'm sure the heads of institutions here are listening to what I'm saying. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So what we will do is, it is 12:48. I'm not sure, after me also there are more speakers, I'm not sure. We will take 1 or 2 questions and then I will stop here. Yeah.
Sir,
I think he is bringing the microphone.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Harika.
Sir, can you please wait? Yeah, please go ahead.
So, we have read that like philosophy of NPE 2020 is a customer-centric education. Will this destroy the essence of education, and issues in it?
What is your question? Could you please repeat?
So we happen to read that NPE 2020 has customer-centric philosophy.
Customer-centric. Okay. Good. You have asked that question. The whole philosophy of NEP 2020. What is your name? What are you doing? What are you studying? PGDM in management, right? You are doing management studies. So, but I understood you are doing PGDM in management, right? So as manager you often have to deal with customers. So it's not very uncommon that customer is part of your regular vocabulary. Now what happens if somebody, if all that somebody has a hammer, wherever he goes he sees only nails, right? So a management student saying about customers, it's not unusual. But let me remove the misconception that you have in your mind. What is the sole objective of NEP 2020? I want to tell you one small story. There is a park, and in the park there are 2 big boulders, and in front of each boulder a person was sitting, and then using tools he was chipping away the stone. So a visitor, while passing, he goes to the first person and asks, "What are you doing here?" Oh, this person says, "I am a sculptor. I am a sculptor I am trying to make a beautiful statue out of this stone in front of me. And the visitor walks and goes to the next person, and this time the visitor wanted to be smarter. So, oh, I see, you are also a sculptor. You are making a statue. And the sculptor says, no, I am not making a statue. The statue is already there inside the stone. I am only trying to chip away the unwanted material so that the statue comes out. The purpose of NEP 2020 is to implement reforms in our education so that it provides an opportunity for you to discover yourself. That is the purpose of NEP 2020. So with that, I think I will conclude here.
So one last
Yes.
question, please. Sir, it was a very great insight that you have highlighted the cognitive skill gap, employability skill gap, ultimately the skill gap itself. Where the UGC has taken a step in the NAP, believe that there is a 8-credit course of a Jeevan Kushal which has been inaugurated by NAP for the development of the students. I am not aware like how many students are aware of it and how far the educational institutes are going forward to implement this 8-credit course like every single semester so that the skill gap can be covered. So how far the UGC is going to ensure that this can be implemented by all the academic institutions. At the same time, believe that in the Jeevan Kushal we have a other part of an internship connected to the industry,
Right.
so which can make the present generation to be more updated with the employability skill. How the UGC strategy is to get the industry to connected with this course.
Correct, absolutely. No.
Thank you, sir.
Jeevan Kaushal or the life skills guidelines UGC has already issued, and it is for the universities to make sure that the guidelines are implemented successfully. But this is a long process. UGC doesn't want to micromanage the university system. They should have the full autonomy. They should be internally driven to improve the system, right? So therefore, the leaders of the educational institutions, the student community, faculty community, they need to work collectively. Once in a while, we do have meetings with the heads of institutions to review how things are being implemented, what challenges they are facing. In fact, now we have formed 5 zonal committees across the committee, South, East, Northeast, Central, West, North, and so on. Recently, 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting of the Western Zonal Vice Chancellors, and we could see a lot of these reforms being implemented, each university competing with each other. And yes, some reforms, they may be a little bit behind, in other reforms they are forward, but collectively it is our responsibility to make sure that NEP 2020 is implemented successfully. Yeah, one last question.
Yeah, sir. This is Dr. Jawahar from the Department of MBA. So my question is, like it's very challenging the way you people design this NET exam, and it happens to be the topmost 10 exams in India.
Right.
Sir, you are introducing the subject management, and along with that you have HR and even commerce. But it will be more delighted like if you people introduce a subject related to entrepreneurship and knowledge management and logistics. With these combinations, like we can find more knowledgeable workers than workers. So it's
Are you from industry?
Both, sir, dual combination. I was there in industry.
Yeah.
HR.
Right now you are a faculty member?
Yeah.
So if you are a faculty member, there is nothing like you people setting. We people setting. We are all collectively setting. It's only our faculty members who sets these question papers. I understand your suggestion that additional papers can be introduced to reflect the current needs. We will look into that.
Thank you.
Okay. So let me take a break here. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity.
So thank you very much for bringing up important issues with interesting examples. Every student and each faculty was able to relate and understand the challenges. You have ignited a solution-oriented perspective amongst us. I'm sure your students must be enjoying your classes a lot. You have guided us educationists the way forward to contribute to Viksit Bharat 2047. 2047, the year when we will mark 100 years of independence. I believe that the knowledge and perspectives you share will continue to resonate with our participants, prompting further reflection and discussions. Now, let's take a moment to congratulate Osmania University MBA Department, Dean Professor Venkataya, Head Professor Sri Ramalu, and other OU officials on the launch of the logo on the Golden Jubilee occasion of MBA Department. Yes, so we'd like to congratulate them. A big round of applause, please. Now, I invite Professor D. Ravinder, Vice Chancellor Osmania University, to present the ICSSR SRC Memento to Professor Jagdish Kumar, Chairman, University Grants Commission. Along with the memento, thank you, sir. Now I request Shri G.S.S. Venkateshwar Rao, President, Vishwa Viswani Group of Institutions, to present a memento to Professor M. Jagdish Kumar. Along with the memento is a token of remembrance, the picture of today's event. We immensely value your presence at VVISM. I now request Shri GSS Venkateshwar Rao, sir, to present a memento to Professor D. Ravinder, Vice Chancellor, Osmania University. This photo is going to be the remembrance of today. I now request our President, Shri GSS Venkateshwar Rao, to present a memento and the photograph to Professor B. Sudhakar Reddy. Once again, thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge and ideas with us, everyone, please. All right, that was the memento being presented to Professor Sudhakar Reddy. I now invite Dr. Y. Lakshman Kumar, Director PGDM, VVISM, to give the vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and the off dais. Today, as we gather here on this memorable occasion, I have the distinct honor of privilege of extending a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of Vishwa Viswani Group of Institutions. On this momentous occasion, I stand before you to extend our gratitude to many individuals and groups who have made this event possible and all the more special. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to the UGC Chairman, Jagdish Kumar, for gracing us with his presence and sharing his invaluable insights on education and new education policy, and also the Bharath, that is new education policy, Bharatiya model of education for a becoming developed country. Sir, your presence today has been truly inspiring, and we are immensely grateful. Vice Chancellor of Osmania University and Chairman of ICSSR, Professor B. Sudhakar Reddy, the Director of ICSSR, for being the integral part of this event, sir. Your presence and contribution have added immense value to today's proceedings. Then we are immensely grateful to the Indian Council of Science and Research and their team for their invaluable support in partnering with Viswani group of institutions and making this today's event a reality. ICSSR collaboration has been instrumental in bringing all of us together to engage in the meaningful discussions and exchange and knowledge. Our sincere appreciation goes to Venkataya Garu, Dean, Osmania University, and Professor Sri Ramulu, Head of the Department of MBA at Osmania University, and his entire team of colleagues for choosing to this platform to launch their Silver Jubilee logo. This is indeed a significant milestone, sir. We are honored to be part of this celebration. We also would like to thank all other OU officials to be here on this afternoon and be part of this event. We would like to place on record our mentor, Sri K.S. Ravikumar Garu, to be here whole day and with us, and we are honored, sir, with your presence. Thank you. Our heartful gratitude goes to our chairman, Sri Srinivasa Acharya, who has been the guiding light in our journey towards the educational excellence. Sir, we thank you for your continuous support and vision. We also extend our thanks to our President GSS Venkateshwar Rao Garu, sir, for your gracious memento presentation and for being a constant source of encouragement to all of us at Viswani group of institutions. We express our special thanks to SRK, Admissions Director, for his constant support. We would like to also express our gratitude to Vice President Mohan Rao, Professor, support and commitment to the success of this event. We extend our thanks to the members of the press and electronic media who have covered this event, electronic media who have covered this event, helping us to reach a wider audience, and of the entire organizing team who have put in relentless effort to ensure the smooth execution of this event. Your commitment is truly commendable. A special mention must be made for our dedicated faculty members of Viswani Group and non-teaching staff